Learning the notes of the neck is one of those skills that's so useful. It's hugely useful, and not many people really take the time to do this. But I find once you've done it, it's a skill that stays with you for life. So it's worth putting the time and effort into it. Now, I know there are schemes and mechanisms for sort of calculating where you are in the neck by looking for octaves and having strings that you've already memorised and things like that. But I find it's really worth just taking that time and actually learning every note just so you know instantly. It's one of those approaches which is a bit like learning your multiplication tables. It's a bit of a pain to start with, but if you take that few weeks to really drill into it, then you'll have a skill that stays with you for life. So I think it's really worth doing it. Now, the approach I like to use is this, and that's to work on the first 12 frets. The reason being that in the first 12 frets you've got an octave, which means that in that space between the first fret and the 12th fret, every note of the chromatic scale occurs once and only once on each string. So if you can learn each string, you'll know where every note is from the 1st to the 12th fret. And then from the 12th fret upwards, this pattern just repeats again. So if you just treat the 12th fret like the open string, then you'll know all of the notes are there as well. So what I like to do is, to start with, I create a set of cards, just create a set of flashcards, just like this. So, and on each card I just write the letters A, B, C, D, E, F, G. I like to use real cards just because it's something that you can hold and you can shuffle and work your way through. But you can download apps for your phone, or you could just write them on bits of paper and put them in a bowl so you can pull them out one at a time. But basically, create yourself a set of cards that you can use to test yourself with. And then if you're starting from scratch, if you don't know the notes at all, it's probably worth downloading a chart just so you've got something to refer to. There are plenty of neck diagrams online. Just do a quick search in Google and you'll find something. And then, depending on your knowledge level, you either start with, say, 1 or 2 cards from here and just test yourself with those, and just add a card every time you get more familiar with the cards you've already worked through. But what you do is you take the first card, so this one says B, and I find all of the Bs, one on each string. So there's a B there, and I just hammer on the string and see if I can find all the Bs on the neck, like that. And then I move on to the next one, and that's an F. And so I find all of the Fs on the neck. And I just work my way through the cards. And after a few days, after a week or so, you'll be able to make it all the way through the cards to some degree. And then you start with the cards again and just see if you can find the flat versions of each note. So F, F flat. So can I find an F flat? There we go. And again, I work my way through all 7 cards, just playing the flat notes of each letter that's on there. And then once I've done that, I'll go through the cards again and find the sharp versions. So F sharp, I'd find the F sharps on here. And again, you work your way all the way across the neck. Now, a note like F confuses some people. F flat, for example, is E, and that people say, does F flat exist? Well, yes, it does. All the musical notes have more than one name, and the name really depends on the context of the note that you're playing. It depends on the harmony, it depends on the key that you're working in. And let me give you an example. So, for example, if I play in C major, there's all of my notes in C major. So I've got C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. So let's play the scale, let's play the C sharp major scale. So I'll just sharpen all of the notes. So I've got C sharp, D sharp, E sharp, F sharp, G sharp, A sharp, B sharp, C sharp. And that's easy to memorise, and you can imagine writing that down again. You'd be using every note on the stave. Now imagine what this would be like if we didn't allow E sharps and B sharps. You'd have C sharp, D sharp, F natural, so there wouldn't be an E in this scale. So C sharp, D sharp, F natural, F sharp, G sharp, A sharp, C natural, so there's no B, there would be no B in this scale, and then C sharp again. So you can immediately see I'm having to do mental flips to try and work out what the scale is, because I'm not allowing myself to use E sharps and B sharps. And similarly, when you're writing the score out, you'd be continually writing things like F natural and F sharp in the score, and the score would be really quite clumsy to read, whereas it would be much easier to read. It is much easier to read the score if you allow yourself to have things like E sharps and B sharps in there, which is why these are valid notes. And actually in music you have the concept of double sharps and double flats for exactly the same reason. So for example, if I play G major, I've got G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp and G. Imagine I now move to G sharp major. I have G sharp, A sharp, B sharp, C sharp, D sharp, E sharp, F double sharp and G sharp. If I didn't allow myself the F double sharp, I'd have that exact same problem with having to bounce between G natural and G sharp, and I wouldn't have anything that I could use on the F line. So that's why you have these concepts of E sharps and C flats, because it just makes it easier to write the music out and to work through the score. But anyway, learning the notes on the neck, get a set of flashcards and just write the letters A to G on them, and just see if you can find each of those notes. There will be one on every string between the 1st fret and the 12th fret. So as you can see, we've got F there. Just see if you can find that note and just hammer on the note, and just see if you can make it through the cards. So that's it. Hopefully that was useful for you. It's a useful skill. Once you've got it, it'll stay with you for life, and definitely worth doing if you don't already know the notes on the guitar neck. So good luck with it, and we chat next time. Goodbye.